Tonight on KGW News, a chaotic afternoon ends in flames.
I mean, it's heartbreaking for everybody else that lives there. Neighbors
hide in their homes after police say a man threw furniture off his balcony, then fired a gun.
What happened was he's all pissed off because he keeps getting ripped off.
What those who know him say was behind it. Plus, close call as a robbery suspect on the run is nearly hit on the tracks. And should police officers have to go to college?
We want smart people who have a range of ideas.
The new push to require a degree, and why local officers worry it won't work. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko, and we begin tonight with some frightening hours in North Portland with what appear to be gunshots, things being thrown off an apartment balcony, and then flames, with neighbors being told not to go outside. Tonight, one man is in custody, and community members tell us they are feeling relieved. Our Catherine Cook was in St. John's as it all unfolded.
Fire jutting from this 8th floor apartment in St. John's Friday evening. It was the last in a series of wild and alarming events to unfold near Cathedral Park. It started around 1:30. That's when police responded to the shrunk Riverview Tower on North Syracuse. Callers reported a man in a mental health crisis throwing things from his balcony, including furniture. When police showed up, they say the man answered the door holding a rifle before closing the door on them. Officers backed off to regroup, and then things escalated.
And we've heard multiple shots fired from inside the apartment.
Sergeant Kevin Allen says none of those shots were fired outside the apartment, but at times the suspect stepped onto the balcony holding the rifle. For that reason, police issued a shelter-in-place order for anyone within 4 blocks of the building. They also activated tactical units and crisis negotiators.
A situation we consider to be an armed, barricaded subject with a rifle in an elevated position in a highly populated area. So we have a tremendous amount of concern for public safety in this situation.
He's really pissed off. Very, very, very pissed off, and seems like he's off his meds.
Brooke Rose Call says her boyfriend knows the suspect and saw him with a rifle on Thursday.
Matter of fact, it is a pellet gun. It is not a shotgun. They're both pellet guns, and because my man actually uncogged it or whatever, but we didn't have no clue he was like gonna go nuts or anything.
Just before 5, things took another turn. Police say the suspect started a fire on the balcony. It grew fast. Fortunately, firefighters responded from just a block away. Meanwhile, officers loud-hailed the suspect from the hallway. He came out, and officers arrested him.
I mean, it's heartbreaking for everybody else that lives there.
Cookie Lindstrom works across the street. She believes the same man showed up outside her salon on Monday in crisis and once again carrying a rifle.
Said he was going to shoot who it was that broke into his apartment and stole all his money. I talked him down, got him calmer. He appreciated it. He said, "Thank you for caring, blah, blah, blah." And then when I saw this, I felt in my heart it was him.
There were no reported injuries today, but police say while they were evacuating residents during the fire, one person was transported for a medical issue. The suspect was taken to the hospital as well as a precaution. Police have not released his name yet, David.
Yeah, Catherine Cook reporting tonight. Thank you, Catherine. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now. A man found guilty of killing a 17-year-old Portland girl in 1974 is set to spend the rest of his life behind bars. A Clark County judge sentenced Warren Forrest to life in prison for the murder of Martha Morrison. Now, new DNA technology helped secure that conviction. Forrest was already serving a life sentence for the murder of another young woman, Krista Blake. Investigators believe Forrest is responsible for killing 7 women across Oregon and Washington. Well, to a close call in Auburn, Washington, dashcam video caught a suspected criminal nearly getting hit by an oncoming train. If you look at the far left of the screen, we're going to play it again here. You see the car hit a crossing sign, jump the tracks. Wow, just narrowly missed that train. Police say the 2 people in the vehicle were wanted for an armed robbery. They tracked them down. They arrested them later that same day. And police now say a threat that caused Tigard High School to cancel classes today was not credible. Police say they're looking into whether it could be connected to a fight Thursday at the school. They've identified the students involved in that fight and verified there was no threat of violence to the school community after school activities continued as planned. Well, tonight, an Oregon lawmaker wants all new police officers to go to college, and his proposal is getting mixed reaction as departments nationwide struggle to recruit. Alma McCarty's in the newsroom. Alma, it seems this state senator is essentially prioritizing quality over quantity.
David, I spoke with the bill sponsor this afternoon, Senator Lou Frederick. He acknowledged that, yes, this could make recruiting more difficult, but he believes the end goal is worth it. He wants communities to have more confidence in law enforcement. However, opponents argue while higher education is a good thing, it creates even more barriers of entry into the profession.
Senate Bill 779 creates, as Senator Lou Frederick explains, a different set of expectations for those tasked to protect and serve.
As you begin to create a different credibility that is sorely lacking in many of our communities regarding police force coming in, folks will accept some things. But there's if anybody doesn't believe that there's a credibility gap, then they haven't been paying attention.
He's proposing a higher education requirement, a 2-year degree for officers in departments with 50 or fewer officers, and a bachelor's degree for departments with 50-plus officers.
We're not saying that everybody has to have a PhD, but we are saying that we want to see folks begin to have a broader sense of the community, of the world around them. They have the ability to injure and potentially kill somebody. So I want them well trained and understanding what's going on.
This week in Salem,
the first public hearing that we will have will be Senate Bill 779.
Lawmakers listened to testimony in committee. The vast majority spoke out against the bill. While they didn't dispute the value of education, opponents believe these requirements could make a current staffing crisis worse.
An incentive-based system works with encouraging more education. It should not be a punitive mechanism that may prohibit the best hire from getting through the door.
As valuable as education is, it takes time and money that many working families don't have.
We can't support such a narrow view of what makes a viable applicant or public servant.
Sergeant Aaron Schmautz, president of the Portland Police Association, echoed that view.
We're looking for candidates who want to serve, who have the right temperament. And we can train you, but we want to make sure that, again, that you have the right kind of mindset. It's not that education doesn't help or hurts. It just means that this job is a very kind of specific skill set.
Senator James Manning, who worked as a corrections officer and police officer, expressed that higher education for law enforcement would be a step in the right direction. Some of the comments made during the hearing, he said, disturbed him.
What I'm hearing is that you only need to breathe in order to get a job in law enforcement. That in itself is scary and it sends a bad signal.
Another hearing for the bill has yet to be scheduled. David?
Thank you, Alma. Let's cross the Columbia now and talk about a bill in the works in Olympia because a Southwest Washington lawmaker wants to help the bar and tavern business by letting young adults 18 and up work back of the house jobs. So let's explain. Right now, the law requires workers at 21 and over establishments to be at least 21. The bill introduced by State Rep Kevin Waters would allow businesses to hire people 18, 19, and 20, but they'd have to work away from alcohol. So we're talking about jobs like dishwasher, cook, or busser. It's something the state permitted temporarily during the worst of COVID when staffing was a huge challenge.
In some ways, COVID allowed us to do some experimenting on things where previously we wouldn't have done it before, and we came out of it going, wait, that works. Let's keep it going. And that's what this is let's keep that momentum going.
Now, if the bill passes, it would also require bars to follow certain rules, like having somebody 21 and up supervising, much the same as restaurants. The bill is now out of committee, and it is working its way through the legislature.